Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Morning Cuppa Joy. I'm here with my dear friend, Marietta Stoner. Welcome, Marietta.
Hello, good morning. This is
I,
great here.
I'm so happy to have you here. I've been wanting this ever since I met you. I'm like, I want you on the show. How are you this morning?
I guess this must be divine order. The pieces fall together a little bit at a time. If we don't orchestrate it and we just allow it to happen, marvelous things happen. And I so enjoyed meeting you too when you were down here. You
Oh,
gals
thank
are certainly
you.
doing so much on Enlightened World Network. My golly, you're certainly role models for all of us.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we just keep putting the energy out there and it keeps moving along, and then the angels say, okay, now do this. We're like, what? How many more hours are you going to give us in a day here, angels?
That's interesting. Do angels really talk to some people?
Oh,
Do they just
yeah.
intuit it? Do some people actually hear the voice, or is it just sort of a knowing the way they guide us?
Marietta, I've heard the angels my whole life. I hear them. They actually speak. And when angels speak, they don't speak English or Spanish or French. They have their own. It's a light language, but our human brains are able to translate that into what we're hearing. So I hear their words the way I understand words. So my whole life, ever since I can remember, ever since a little girl, I have talked to the angels, and I'd laugh at them. So I was always laughing, and everybody wondered what I was laughing at. I was like weird when I was a kid because I was happy. And I guess kids aren't supposed to be happy when you're in a big family and there's always chaos and confusion. But I was just like always off by myself and laughing. So they thought something was wrong with me. Something was wrong with me.
I think that's a wonderful connection, to make with our spirit helper energy, because
Yes.
the angels are here to show us love and to show us joy and keep us on track a little bit. But boy, do they have ideas. They
Oh
come
my
up with
gosh.
all sorts of things that they might want us to do.
Don't they?
You
I
know
know.
what's going down on around down here in the Keys is the angels gave some older lady an idea to make hearts.
No, they wouldn't do that.
They did, it was around Christmas time, and it was back in 2014 even. And I had a piece of plywood sitting there and an extra strand of red lights, those little Christmas lights.
Mhm,
And
I
so
know.
the angels gave me an idea to cut that plywood into a heart and paint it red, and then put the red lights all around and decorate. So I did, and I liked it so much, I made another and then another. And I want to show you an example of
Oh my gosh. I love it.
this. Is a smaller heart. The first one was like half a sheet of plywood, so 48 by 48. So this is a little one.
So just like my heart, right? Behind me.
Uh, Absolutely, that's a littler one. That's an even littler one than this one. And for years, I started making them and giving them out, and I got the vision that wouldn't it be nice to see hearts in my community, hearts up and down the Keys. And I even visualized on all of the marker signs going down the Keys that there would be a heart on each one. But that's a sort of a government thing, and so I was directed just to keep that vision for myself and put
Right.
hearts on places on the highway, on properties like at a restaurant or something, or at a business where they would allow it. And so it started spreading and people started asking for hearts. So I made more hearts. And you know, the Keys get a lot of visitors down here.
Oh yeah.
So visitors came and said, oh, I would love a heart. Can I take this back to London
Oh
or
God.
New Zealand or Switzerland? There are hearts now in Montreal and of course a lot of the different states. So this heart is a gift we want you to share. It's a mighty fine way to show we all care. We hope that you'll hang it for all eyes to see. A great love is flowing across key to key. Or we could say, a great love is flowing to you from me.
Absolutely. And it is. And Marietta, I have been there and seen those hearts all over the Keys. We saw them. Deb Goldberg was the one that pointed them out as we were coming to the Keys. And every time I would see a heart, I'm going, Marietta's heart.
And there are littler ones too. And some of them are double-sided. And I have a
Ooh,
tree out in my yard and I have hearts hanging on the tree.
the heart
And
tree.
I call it my giving tree because when someone stops, and sometimes if it's just a delivery person or people out taking a walk or riding their bicycle and they ooh and all when they see the hearts here, and I say, would you like a heart? And they come up to my giving tree and take a heart home with them.
So beautiful. So beautiful. Are you all loving this? We have people. We have Deirdre saying good morning. Sally De La Rosa, Tammy Martin, Catherine Kovacs, Wendy. And Wendy, thank you for sharing the live. Jordan De La Rosa. And Catherine Kovacs says she loves the hearts. Yes. And Rick Morrow, I love it. I love your hearts. And tell us about where you live there in the Keys. And it's called Heart Harbor, right? That's your name for it.
Actually, because I started making hearts and giving them to the neighbors, as I look out here, we have a harbor where there's a lot of sailboats and other boats here. It's a beautiful spot. And I can look across the water at night and neighbors now have hearts and they reflect the red light in the water. And I can say, there's a heart, there's a heart, there's a heart. There are hearts all around here.
All around you. Mm-hmm.
And one of the neighbors' mother said, oh, we live in Heart Harbor. And so she's the one that sort of gave the name. And then we had some younger people here on a mission to check the quality of the water from Florida International University. And they said, oh, look at this, all the hearts. And I said, yeah, they're calling it on Heart Harbor, but we haven't made it on the map yet. So this young gal said, oh, I could get it on Google Maps. And within a week, she gave me the message to check. And now if you go on Google Maps, you can hit Heart Harbor and it comes up with our location. Now the picture is old. The picture is not the way it looks now. We actually lost our home in Irma and we had to have it totally torn down. But now we've turned it into a beach and we have, like out there on the beach, there is a little pond. It's just one of those little ponds you can put a few fish in or lily pads, but it's right next to a tree that I call the tree of knowledge. And it has little hearts on it and they all have messages like God is love and wisdom and infinite intelligence and joy and health, all of those on the tree. And then there is, oh, I thought I brought it inside to show you. Yes, I did. There is another heart out there that says,
it's above, so it is.
Here now. Can you see that?
Yes, we do. Wow.
And another sign right next to it that's pounded down into the dirt is the Garden of Eden, because I really feel like this is paradise. We live in the Keys, 75 miles or so south of Miami and 90 miles north of Key West. And we feel, just like we're so grateful every day to be here. We live on a
Yes.
cul-de-sac, a street here, and there's only 2 neighbors full-time on the whole street. So I have a lot of special privacy, and we're right on the canal with the harbor out front. And so I started making hearts back in 2014 when my mom and dad were living with us. And I was sort of stay-at-home caretaker. And mom would help me, and we would sit there and talk about the tacks. And as we pounded in the little thumbtacks, we would say, "Infinite love and gratitude to all who see these hearts." And then I'd get another tack, "Infinite love and gratitude to all who see these hearts." And mom and I would do it together. She was 91 when she passed, and it was a joy, so
Yeah.
all of the hearts have special loving energy. When I would cut them out, I would draw them on the plywood and cut them out with a jigsaw, and then sand them down. And as I would sand them down, I would say, "Oh, I know you're a little rough around the edges here. We can smooth that out," And that's sort of like the way we are as personalities. We get a little rough because it's a journey here. Our soul for sure is guiding us all the way. Spirit is guiding us all the way. But sometimes we get confused, with all of the apparent injustice going on in the world. So what can you do one step at a time to spread a little love? And the hearts just took off more and more. I even made a heart as a flower.
Look
And
at that.
I put these, I made a memorial for a friend who passed, and I had these hearts all around for her. And God bless her, she had the longest name possible. I put it all on the stem of the flower going down, and it was a burger or something. But it's like
Wow.
a little letter I cut out when I make signs, like some of the signs that I've made. Here's one. I didn't make that one. Here's one I'll tell you about. They asked me to be the leader of the Tooth Fairy Parade. So this is a banner that I carried and a red bathrobe and a big red hat. And I'm leading the Tooth Fairy Parade.
Right. Oh my gosh. I wish I could have seen that.
Oh my golly. Well, they even got it on video.
Oh, good. I'll have to find that video. Well, people are loving your hearts this morning. Let's say hello to some more of our friends. Sharon Boyle came in, Jean Lorio, Charles Coons, April Dawn Took. Hello and welcome. Pritchetta is here. And Marianne is here. Marianne Malone, Cindy. Marianne's going to be one of my guest co-hosts this week. Who else did I see? Welcome, all of you. And they're just giving you so many hearts right now, Marietta. The hearts are just flowing on Facebook right now.
Oh, all right.
Yes, don't you love that? And I love that you're sharing the backstory with us of how all this came to be and all of the love that you pour into them. You made me one while I was there. That's the one I have here. I hung it up on my wall and took this picture of it. And Marietta, look at right in the center. It looks like angel wings when it's lit up.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But I didn't know that backstory that of you saying the sayings as you're pounding the tacks into it and sanding it down. And yeah, I have a lot of rough edges that still need the sandpaper.
Here's one I made.
Thank you.
Can you read this? It says Semper Fi. And it's
Semper Fi, Marines.
Marine slogan that means always faithful.
Always faithful.
And so I made this one for the Marines. and for a special friend of mine who is involved with an organization called the Long Walk Home and doing what he can for veterans. So
Yeah.
Here's the Heart will be at their events. So it's the joy and the creativity as it comes across my path. How do we show really that our intention is something that's loving? One of the things
Right.
going on right now, of course, is the Black Lives Matter group.
Mm-hmm.
And I know some friends who I know and trust have a lot of compassion. And when they are talking about Black Lives Matter, they're trying to talk about equality and
Right.
equal justice. But I went to a demonstration here a couple of weeks ago for Black Lives Matter, and I was directed to take 30 hearts. And so I come with my basket of carrying of 30 hearts, and there were people there, like the sheriff and the police and the reporter and other demonstrators to make sure everything went smoothly. Well, my intention, of course, was to spread love. So
Right.
here's the sheriff wearing a heart, and some of the other people, and they're taking pictures, and people are coming up, oh, can I have a heart? And then they're holding up the hearts at the sign, so I'm not a political activist. That's not something that's, in my,
Right.
but I was directed, like you say, the angels sort of give you the message of take some hearts.
Take some
Okay.
hearts.
So I had a friend who was involved in this, and I said, sometimes she wanted to get Black Lives Matter signs all around the Upper Keys here. And I said, sometimes that's triggering negatives in people. There's some violence associated with the group and things like that. And so we talked through that and what was her intention and what was her unique way of spreading the love. Well, okay, we talked about it. So I made her a sign to carry. And can you see this one?
Lives Matter. I do see that one.
And it's got all the hearts on it. And it's got the gold letters. We do care. We are coming to love. Okay. Well, just to make sure everybody knows that, the person that's holding up the sign, Black Lives Matter, would see something written on the back. Whoops. Can you read that?
When I see you, I see love.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's what we want to show out into the world. If we're talking about Black Lives Matter or All Lives Matter, we want to see the love in each person that comes across our path. So that was just one day that I was directed to do this, So as I'm making the signs and painting, I'm sort of meditating. I'm going from the heart to extend more peace in the world, to be a peacekeeper.
Right.
And I guess some of you have already heard about my philosophy.
Let's hear it.
Perfectly. Well, you got more people that came in first, and then I'll share.
We have Lauren that came in. Good morning. Gabby came in, but she's going to bed. She's in Australia, so it's very late. So she's going to bed. Gabby, we love you. Rest well. And I just want to see these responses. I love all the hearts you all are giving. Don't you love what this mission is of Marietta? And it all started with that inspiration to make a heart. Just make a heart. And now the love is everywhere. It's international. It's throughout the states. I know Ruth took one home to Colorado. Deb took it to Pennsylvania. They're like all over the place. So I love your mission, and I love how that was so inspired to do this. You heard, you listened, and you did it. You followed through. So thank you. I want to thank you personally for the way you share love into the world.
Well, another mission that I've had, Teri, is to share the philosophy of everything is working perfectly. And
Yes.
I started out back in the 80s, and I made a copy, a sheet of paper. And I, when I traveled, would say, oh, wait, I got something for you. And I would share this and hand out a piece of paper. Well, it's so much easier now when you can just push a button and go to a website and say, hey, would you care to read this message? Well, so for 20, geez, more than that now, for maybe 30 years, and maybe even longer, I have been sharing this message. And I had a website, you notice I said had, that said everything is working perfectly.com. And I just found out that website has gone down now.
Oh, no.
I guess I didn't pay for it or didn't renew it or something like that. Okay. So there's an opportunity to really believe, okay, everything is working perfectly. I don't understand why that message isn't getting out there in that way anymore, but it's all in divine order. So just accept, align, allow. But I wanted to read to you what everything is working perfectly is really all about, since you can't read it on the internet anymore.
Yeah, please do.
Everything is working perfectly according to an incredible divine plan. This plan has existed throughout all time, but mankind is just beginning to figure it out. Everything is working perfectly because, according to God's plan, we draw to ourselves exactly the experiences that are necessary for us to learn about love and how to love unconditionally. The goal is to discover that we create our own reality by the choices that we make. The more we choose love, the more we live in the vibration of love and harmony and peace. And the more we choose anger or violence and greed and limitation or judgment of ourselves and others, the more we live with fear, separation, loneliness, and dis-ease. We get to choose what we focus on, and what we focus on becomes the reality that we experience. EIWP, which is short for everything is working perfectly. My husband came up with that one day. Yeah, I know. Everything EIWP. EIWP helps me to accept that whatever comes across my path is a perfect part of the plan, even if I don't like it and feel like I don't have a choice about what other people do or don't do. I do have a choice about what I think and what I do. Whenever what seems like an obstacle or problem is presented to me, and I feel that I am being tested here,
Oh, yeah.
I think EIWP because accepting the plan helps me look for what could possibly be positive. This increases positive vibration in my life, and choosing a loving response, it makes me feel better. I know if I look for the positives, I'm more likely to find the positives instead of increasing negative vibration by devoting my time and energy to the negatives. I want to learn not to consume myself with obsessive negative thinking and focusing on what is wrong and feeling like I have to control everything. I want to learn and gain wisdom from all of my experiences so that I can pass each test that comes across my path in this university of life. And I pass the test by choosing love. It really is simple. The more we can do that, the more higher we go, the better we feel, the more love we spread in the world. I ask myself, what am I willing to do right here, right now, to help co-create peace on earth? EIWP helps me to remember to choose in the most positive way that I can respond at all times.
Right.
And helps me radiate loving, healing energy from within and spread it throughout the world. So that's EIWP, and that's by being on a mission for 30 or 40 years, sharing that. So EIWP is going around the world too.
It
And
is.
on their refrigerators, and some gal I know has it on her mirror, right inside
Really?
her heart.
Yes, and I've been saying it so much. People are saying it back to me now. If there's something going on with me, they're like EIWP, and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot. Everything is working perfectly. But I love that it's part of that mission is to pivot away from the negative. And as humans, we have that tendency, don't we? Our ego kicks in, and it's like we go to the worst possible scenario sometimes, or we think along the line of, that's not going to work out. That's not right, and we would pull in judgment and negativity. And I'm reading this book right now by another friend. It's actually a workbook, and she has you really think about some questions that she puts out there. And I wanted to read this question that I'm working on right now and see how you feel about this. So she has you think, when I have a negative thought, do I believe this thought? What do you think about that process? To look at that thought and say, do I believe what I'm speaking to myself? Do I believe that thought?
That's an important part of the examination, because lots of times we simply copy thoughts that we've heard before that other people have believed. And so, well, that's the tribe mentality, and we think that's truth. And what you're suggesting is, let's look at that belief and challenge that. Is that true? Is that always true?
Yeah, exactly. Like, do I believe this? Is this thought true or false? And for me, it may be true for somebody else, but this is our own self-examination. Do I believe it? Is it true? And where did it come from? Like you were saying, where did it originate from? Did I hear that somewhere and then I adapted it for myself? Because that's how we get into a lot of our patterns, don't we? And a lot of the things that we do.
Those thoughts are they're not really our thoughts. They're simply thoughts that are out there in the universe, and we get to pick one to give energy to. And we often pick what's familiar, and then we feel justified. And those ego thoughts that are out there tell us that, oh, those ego thoughts are trying to protect us, and we should control things, and we should be responsible. And if it's not fair, we should attack. And so we attack ourselves, or we attack the others. And that's the system of belief that I want to change. Okay. I don't want to give energy to those thoughts anymore. And so I've got a solution to that. And that is,
Accept, align, allow.
I let God choose for me. As much as I can, I want to give up the control of the thoughts to spirit. Okay. And what accept, align, allow means is, there are obstacles that come across our path that are challenging our beliefs, like you're talking about. Do I believe what's happening in the political arena? Do I believe one person or another? It used to be, when we were little, that if we saw a picture of something, we could believe that was true. That person was there. I saw the picture of him there. But now they can Photoshop things, and they can manipulate the reality that they present to us. So we really are examining all of our beliefs. Okay. So accept, align, allow is really basically saying that a lot of things will come across our path. Some of them make us feel good and wonderful, and some of us push our button. They're hard to deal with. It's hard to accept. But all healing begins with acceptance, because we don't resist it. We don't fight with it. We don't judge it. Okay, we accept even the virus right now. Okay, it's here. I don't have to like it. I'm not voting for it. Okay, and we can say that I'm not voting for it a lot in an argument with a person, I'm not voting for that idea, but I accept that that's come across my path. Okay, well, choice is so important to people, and we get angry when we feel like we don't have a choice. So, what choice works for me is to go higher, to go to my higher self, to go to Holy Spirit, to go to God, to go to love. Okay, and that by setting my intention of aligning with the highest love I can conceive of feels good to me. So already I'm feeling better. And then here comes the tricky part, and that's allow this love to work through us, allow spirit to work through us, give up the need that we feel like we have to control everything, and allow it in the now moment. See, that's the important part, because things can change real quickly. Okay, accept, align, allow is another go-to, like everything is working perfectly. So I even made up a song to this one. Some of you have heard it already. It goes to the tune of Farmer in the Dell. Accept, align, allow, accept, align, allow. I'm calling all the angels now. Accept, align, allow.
I love
And
it.
the third line you can change. Okay, you can say anything you want in the third line. Accept, align, allow, accept, align, allow. I can't believe it's raining now. Accept, align, allow. Because you're acknowledging your feelings and your situation in the now moment, and you're showing you're reaching for those thoughts out there that are love.
Yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely. And which do you think is the most difficult part of that accept, align, allow?
Probably the accept.
That's what I was thinking too.
Because once you start with acceptance, it's a lot easier to jump to align. And once you align, you allow it the first time, and you see how magnificent it is, how well the divine plan works. And you get enthusiastic about choosing that, because you are assured that this co-creation that we do with God, with spirit, and with the heart loving each other, that's what God's mission is for us, is to extend love here on earth.
Yeah, yeah. And it's the power of being able to make choices. We choose every day. We make decisions of how we're going to be. I chose how I was going to be today when I woke up. Was I going to be grumpy Teri, or was I going to be, I'm going to put on my happy face. I'm going to really get into gratitude. Gratitude changes everything. So the more gratitude I can get into, then that's going to put that smile on my face. So we choose if we're going to accept or if we're going to resist what is in front of us or what is out there somewhere in this world, that we're going to focus on. Where we put our focus, that's where everything expands for us. So if we're putting our focus into what's going wrong in the world, and we can do that, we can look at a million things that's going wrong in our world, what we perceive as wrong, right? That's a judgment. So we judge that that what's happening somewhere is wrong, instead of saying, okay, that's happening, like you were saying, that's happening, it's here. I didn't want it, I didn't vote for it, but it's here. So I go into acceptance of, that's here in my world. And now what can I do? I can align with my higher self. I can go into that part of me that knows that everything is working perfectly. And
Yeah.
then I allow.
And we don't deny other people's feelings. If we see that something is triggering them and they get angry about something, or they are afraid, with compassion, we understand that's their journey. That too is a perfect part of the process.
Yes.
People have armored themselves up for years and years and years because they feel they need protection. And some of the way of armoring themselves is to hold the bother inside and not express it. And it turns into anger. And yet anger sometimes makes it worse. And oh, geez, we're sorry after that. And then we feel guilty. And then, oh, now it's even worse. And so we don't want to feel that at all. And we push it even down further and further. And it actually goes into the body, and the body has to carry some of this stuff that we have denied. And so we're going through an incredible transition period right now here on earth.
Yes.
And the stuff that has literally been held inside is coming up to be cleansed, to be purified by it. And so if I see a negative reaction, well, from my husband, for example, I want to hold the peace. I want to accept the line, allow, and allow him even the release of the negativity.
Yeah.
That's a huge step.
It is.
Of course, we don't like to see that in others. And we either fight back or we run away or we freeze. And we turn off too. So accept people's processes in this. It's like a soap opera. We see a lot of them on TV and we go, oh, how bizarre. Well, life is pretty bizarre too when we see what's going on. And that's when we want to be wise enough to grab a hold of those thoughts that are positive, because if I can do it for me, I'm helping you.
That's right. I don't know if you follow Abraham Hicks' teachings, but one that really sticks with me is find a better feeling thought. Find a better feeling thought. It's like if I'm having this whole scenario playing out, and I'm stuck on what's wrong in the world, what better thought can I go to? Okay, I'm okay right now. I'm healthy. Find a better feeling thought. Think of something that puts you in that place of going toward the positive, moving away from the complaining and moaning and trying to always focus on what's wrong, and move to something that's really good, something that's in you. And we don't go from that state of being in the mire and everything is stuck to exhilaration all at one time. We move up that ladder. We move up to one better feeling thought at a time. And that's how we move out of that complaining negative energy, is by looking for something that will give us hope, something that will give us a better feeling inside in the world that we're living in.
That's what I mean by the university of life.
Yeah, exactly.
We have all of these opportunities, and it does feel like a test. Okay.
Yeah.
I put my button, but I get a choice as to how I respond.
Absolutely.
And when I hear those thoughts that I could say, and I don't say them, I feel like, oh, that's so much progress. Okay, now I can change them and grab a hold of another thought without having dumped it out in my world. And I feel like I'm passing the test. And each time I feel like I'm going higher.
And you're adding to the positive frequency of the universe. We all add to that energy, whether we're adding it in a negative way by being stuck and complaining and, talking about what's really wrong in the world, or we add to the positive energy by doing exactly what you're doing. Accept, align, allow. Everything is working perfectly. Making your hearts and sharing of your beautiful self. That's adding to the positive frequency. And Marietta, I used to say, what can I do? I'm just one person. What does it matter if I'm talking about how wrong things are, if I'm griping and complaining all the time? And then I found out, yes, it does matter, because each person, we vibrate at a frequency. So our vibration is adding to the collective vibration. And if I'm vibrating at a negative, complaining, everything is horrible vibration, then that's pulling down those that are vibrating positively. But if I'm vibrating at a positive, I love you, everything is working perfectly vibration, it rises the vibration of the frequency of the world. So
And,
it does make a difference. You
and,
matter.
and what a way we're starting the day. You know,
Yeah.
every day now, if I tune in, I feel like, wow, this is a positive way to start the day. I love
Yeah.
meeting the people that are coming on and hearing
Mhm.
them talk about their stories. And, you know,
Yeah.
we're all connected at that deep, deep level. And this is wonderful, wonderful mission that you have. You know, you're so
Yeah.
dedicated and so loving, and I just feel your joy all the time.
Thank you. Thank you. It is. I don't stay in that high joyful state 24 hours a day. I wish I could, but life happens. And like you were saying, there's what I call fires. You call them tests, I call them fires. Fires happen. We have to put out fires all the time, or we walk through that fire. And we can walk through the fire without getting burned up. We come out on that other side and we're stronger for it. And I grew up in the country. We had pokers for our fireplace. And I feel like sometimes when we go through that fire, it's making us stronger, just like the fire does to steel. It makes it stronger and fortifies it. So I welcome the fires in my life. But while I'm going through them, I may not be laughing and jolly and, upbeat, but I know that on the other side of that, I'm going to have learned something and have an experience that lifts me to a different place, to a different level. So I'm grateful for every test, for every fire, for every challenge that I have. And we can look at life in two different ways. We can say, okay, I'm just going to give up. It knocked me down, I'm going to stay down on the floor. Or if I go through it with an attitude of gratitude, then I'm going to learn from that, and I'm going to accept it, and I'm going to really um, be at a better place for having been there. And that's the choices that we have. We always have choice, always. Okay, I'm going to type into the comments. Welcome everyone that jumped in. We have Erica, Julie, Charles Coons. Um, yeah, I love all of you. Thank you for being here. And Marianne said, Marianne Malone Cindy is with us, and she says, pivot. I love pivot. And I learned that from Abraham Hicks. If you're thinking that thought, just pivot away from there. Just turn around. Don't even go there. I'm typing in that it is our prayer request time. Oh my gosh, girl, this time together is going so fast. Okay, so it's time to put your prayer request in. And someone asked about Charles's friend Joyce. I know we've been lifting her up and praying for her, and she's seeing the doctor today. And Wendy, prayers for Mel Wig, who is in our group. Yes, she is, and we'll definitely lift her up. Thank you. Do you have anyone you want to put in there in the prayer circle today, Marietta?
Well, I just want to put this one in.
Oh, yes, yes. Love thy neighbor. I love that.
I do have a prayer that I wrote that I would like to read for the prayer ceremony this morning.
Okay.
As you're gathering names and people are thinking really loving thoughts about people that we care for, reaching out to extend the love from our heart to others. I grew up in a religious family. Actually, my dad is a preacher, so if I get a little involved in preaching, and sometimes I have to end by saying, "Here endeth the epistle." as they said in church. But
Right, right.
this is a prayer I wrote instead of the Lord's Prayer. So this is my version. God, my heavenly Father, thou art the creator and sustainer of all life. Let me align myself with your will for me so I can help co-create heaven on earth. Protect me from the temptations and evils of this world and help me to learn not to judge others nor myself for any transgressions based on ignorance of your divine plan. Bring forgiveness into my life and into my heart, and help me to accept your unconditional love for us all. I know you to be all powerful, all knowing, and all loving forever and ever. Amen.
That was beautiful, Marietta. Thank you. Thank you. I love that. Ah,
My mom and
yeah,
I would say this prayer, every night as I was tucking her into bed, and we would have our little time together, and we would have our prayers, and it was really a bonding experience,
yes.
opportunity to extend love at a real deep level.
That was so beautiful. And ah, thank you for sharing that with us. That was very heartfelt. And I'm touched by that prayer. And I love that. So thank you. And we have a lot of response to that. April says she has tears. That was just beautiful. That's beautiful. Yes. Thank you. I want to read Christina Lepwich's comment. She says, although I try hard to stay in that accept, align, allow, I am also a truth seeker and a healer. So my next words are, how can I help right here where I am physically? It starts in our own backyard. Absolutely, just like what Marietta did. You were able to make a difference in somebody's life by giving a heart, giving this beautiful symbol of love, and writing words on there, putting your energy into them. It does start wherever we are. Whatever we can do, we can share of ourselves. And when we're in that positive energy, that's what goes into what we put forth in our world. May the blessings be. Absolutely. Well, you've certainly blessed my life. You've touched my life in a huge way. And I share you with everybody. I share your words. I always give you credit because these are your words. This is your say. Well,
No.
Ed said EIWP, but you did the expanded version of it.
It's wonderful to share the joy.
It is. And so angel inspired. That's what I love. You heard the message and you went with it. You did it. So thank you.
And those heart angels told me to be on the show too.
Yes, they did. They kept nudging you, didn't they?
And you were one of them.
They are relentless, let me tell you. One of my friends, she's so funny. She says whenever Michael wants her to do something or when he's trying to get her attention, he pinches her on the arm. She feels a physical pinch on the back of her arm. We can be sitting talking or sitting in an angel circle, and all of a sudden she's like, ouch. Archangel Michael just pinched me.
Well, at least that kind of message, you can tell the difference between that and a mosquito.
Yes, exactly.
And you're like, oh, geez, it might be a bug.
April says, thank you for sharing your story about your mama, Mary. Mama and I didn't speak at her transition. I just held her. Our prayers and love didn't need words. Beautiful, April. Absolutely. I'm glad you were there for your mother. And Prachetta says, prayers of good health for Wendy, Tony, Charlie, Shantae. Prayers of strength, courage, and happiness for Tracy, David, Prachir, Neil, and Minima. Lots and lots of prayers for my fairy, Teri, to be happy, healthy, and full of joy. Thank you. Thank you, Prachetta. Such passionate, compassionate prayers that Prachetta and Prachir both do every day when they come on here. I love you both so much. I haven't seen Prachir on, so he must be busy this morning with work. Well, it is our prayer time. And I so appreciate everyone that came on this morning, all of you that came in and lovingly shared of yourself and are here to lift each other up and share joy from heart to heart. That's what we do every morning here at Morning Cuppa Joy. That's why it was renamed that, because we needed joy in there in the title. So that's where we go when we go into our hearts and we feel that love and release our burdens. We let go of all of anything that's unlike love, anything that's low vibration. So I welcome anyone right now to join us in doing that. And when we lift the prayers up, I call it God, call it whatever you want to call it. It doesn't matter. It's just a label. That highest being that is, that creator, source energy, that's where we go when we go into our hearts and we make that connection. So let's do this right now. Let's go into our hearts. And I like to touch my heart space because wherever you're touching on your body, your focus goes there. So let's go into our hearts right now, that place where our real spirit is inside of these human bodies. So take a deep breath in and breathe in love, breathe in light, breathe in joy right now. We've had such a beautiful experience of laughter and learning how we can share our love out into the world. So feel into that joy, feel into the happiness that's expanded inside of you. Happiness is not on the outside, it's on the inside. And joy just adds to that feeling of happiness. And when you're exhaling your breath, just release anything that's unlike love. Release judgments. Release criticism. Release anything that's nagging at you and telling you that things aren't good in your life or things could be better. Let's release any of that energy and go right into the pure, unconditional love that comes from our Creator. Breathe in again and let that love flow all through you. Let it go from the top of your head to the tip of your toes, flowing love. And I love to see the colors, the color of love. What color is swirling around you right now? I see beautiful greens and pinks right now flowing around each one here in the group, wrapping you up in a blanket of love. Green is the color of our heart chakra. And as you expand your heart, that color gets deeper and it expands out more from you, going out into the world, out to the earth where we're walking, letting Mother Earth feel that love as you walk on her back, letting all the animals that are out in our world feel that love. All the trees, plants, just envision right now that you're standing in a field and there's a big tree right in front of you. Just walk up to that tree and give it a hug. Wrap your arms around it. Give it a hug and say thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for what you add to this world, for the energy that you have here, for the knowledge that you're pouring out from you. Years and years of growing and pulling energy up from Mother Earth. Thank you for what you're putting out into our world. and feel that beautiful nature energy just going all through you, that connection with our Mother Earth. And feel that energy coming up from the center of Mother Earth right now. Feel it coming into the bottom of your feet, grounding you, centering and balancing you. Breathe that in. Breathe in that beautiful love energy coming from our Mother, who loves us so much. Let's take care of our Mother. Let's send love right back down into Earth. Let's expand that out to every inhabitant of Earth. Let everyone that's alive feel this energy. Let them breathe it in as they're breathing in the air. Let them breathe in love. Just feel that energy right now. Envision people all over the world right now just stopping as that hits them. Just stopping and wondering, where did that come from? Where did that thought come from? I am loved. Our I am statements are so important. If we breathe in and feel I am worthy, I am deserving of love, and then we send that back out into our world, it's going to land somewhere. So send that out today. I am deserving of love. I am a being of love and light, and I'm sharing that light out into the world. And envision people all over the world feeling that now, feeling that love surrounding them and coming into their heart center. Just like every morning when we send it through our circle, we get it back. Let's send it out there so they can pay that forward and send it to others. And let's ask our angels to be very present right now with every prayer request that was lifted up, every prayer request that's in our hearts that maybe we didn't speak, but we're holding close to us. Let's remember our family members that are here with our little group, anyone that's in need right now, anyone that's suffering and maybe not in the best of health at the moment. Let's lift everyone up for the perfection of whatever is to be the outcome of their situation. Let's lift up our planet that's struggling and going through this pandemic right now. Every person that's been affected by it, whether physically through their health or through seeing a loved one go through it. For all those who are grieving over ones that have been lost, let's lift them up right now. Asking our angels to help with each prayer request, to help it be lifted up to the Creator, and then losing our attachment to the outcome. It's not for us to say how that's going to end up. Whatever is going to take place, whatever transformation happens in their life, it is exactly what is supposed to happen. So we release our burden, we release our attachment to it. Just let that go with the prayer request. Let it travel directly up to God. And then ask Archangel Michael to release those ties, release the burden, so that we're no longer carrying burdens. We're carrying gratitude, giving so much gratitude that we are a loving family that cares, and we're showing our compassion by putting everyone that's here into the circle and bringing forth all of those that we care about and we want the best for them. And as we release those burdens and we release those prayer requests to God, just feel how that feels now inside. Feel the lightness of releasing burdens. And we did it together. We're all lifting those burdens together. And thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for playing your part. It's no accident or coincidence that you're here. You're here for a purpose. You're here because you are love and you are listening. You're listening to the angels. You're listening to your higher self that's telling you that this is where you need to be at this moment to receive this blessing and to share your love, to become part of the solution. So thank you for listening. Thank you all for your love and for being here. And thank you to Marietta for being here this morning. Such beautiful, loving energy that comes from you, such unconditional love. So let's take time right now to hold somebody in your heart. Hold them close. Envision that you're giving them a really big heart hug. You're just holding them and loving them, and say to that person, say it out loud, I love you. Wow, that feels good. It feels good to say those words and to receive them back. That's the beauty of it. What we give out, we get back. That's the law of the universe. We get what we give. And we're giving love right now. So let's do that to the whole group. And we know how this works. If you're new to us, what we do at the end of our show, after we lift each other up and go into that beautiful meditative place in our heart and feel into the love and release our burdens, we share some gratitude with the whole group by saying thank you. And then we say, I love you to everybody in the group. And we do this after we count down from 3, 2, 1. So Marietta, I'm going to ask if you would like to lead us in this part of our show today.
3, 2, 1. Thank you.
Thank you.
I love you.
You. Love you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing from your heart, your stories, your songs, your beauty that is you. You have an amazing, wonderful heart. And I'm so forever grateful that I got to meet you when I was down in the Keys, and grateful for Deb for introducing us and letting me see all of the beauty that surrounds you. So much love to you, Marietta, at Heart Harbor, and keep shining. I'm going to look it up on Google Maps. I want to see that for myself.
Thank
Just
you,
beautiful.
Teri. You just do such a wonderful mission here, and I'm glad to be a part of it today.
Thank you, darling. I loved having you, and this has been a wonderful time of sharing together, and all the hearts that are going up right now, they're just beautiful. Thank you. And people are sending love and blessings for us. Thank you so much. I hope you all will stay with Enlightened World Network today. We have so much going on here today at Enlightened World Network. I'll be on later today at 5 o'clock. I have the beautiful Sharon Rhea. Many of you have experienced her philosophy and her mission of no judgment, just love. She is making that viral. She's making it a thing out in the world now. No judgment, just love. And she's going to be my guest on Gratitude Happy Hour today at 5 o'clock. So I hope you'll join us for that. And then later on tonight, we chant. And Marietta, we didn't even talk about chanting, but that's something I know you have started doing along with us. We chant every night at 9 o'clock. We do Om Gangana Pataye Namaha. We break through barriers. We remove obstacles. And then we do Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, which brings us to our beautiful, authentic self and bubbles up peace and joy and bliss inside of us. And I'm so appreciative that you also chant with us. And one of these nights, maybe you'll come on to our Zoom. That's what we're doing now. Our chanting family, Jean Lorio, who's on here, Marianne, they come on with us, Charles Coons, and we all chant together with me and Karen Palmer. So if you all want to do that, it's in the group, Chanting for Change group. There's a Zoom link, and you can come right in with us and chant alongside of us on the Zoom. or if you prefer, just listen and chant along with us. So thank you. Thank you. And Sharon Boyle says, it's nice to meet you, Marietta. And everyone is sending much love to you and thanking you for sharing of your beautiful self today. I love you. You're so
And I
precious
love
to
you
me.
all.
Send you a big hug. Sending hugs to everybody, hugs and love. So we know how we end the show every day. So we're going to say that together, that our beautiful Deirdre has given us as our thought for leaving the time together. And those words are
Namaste.
namaste, y'all.
Yo.
Namaste, y'all. I love you so much. Bye, everybody. Have a magnificent day. Everything is working perfectly.